Today, we're tackling one of the biggest challenges in any business, KPI prioritization. We're going to break down exactly how you can find that tiny, predictive 5% of metrics that actually matter and build a system that drives real, predictable growth.
The greatest strategic failure is believing more data solves problems, that the answer lies in the sheer volume of metrics, when in reality, it lies in ruthless focus. We've all been sold this idea, haven't we? That a bigger, more complex dashboard somehow equals a smarter strategy. That if we just track more things, we'll magically have more control. But you know what? The exact opposite is true. Real control, real strategic power comes from subtraction, not addition.
So I want you to really think about this for a second. What if 95% of the data you're looking at every single day isn't just useless, but is actively hurting you? What if it's practically designed to distract your team, to confuse your thinking, and to guarantee you focus on the wrong things? Now, this isn't some crazy hypothetical. For most companies, this is the daily reality. It's a state of paralysis caused by too much information.
All right, so how do we fix this? Well, we've got a really clear roadmap for today. First, we're going to dig into the data paralysis crisis. Then, we'll name the two big enemies of focus. After that, we'll get to the good stuff, the solution, which is something called the Predictive Success Filter. And we'll look at the psychology that makes it so powerful. And finally, we'll walk through exactly how to do a priority audit so you can see the true power of reduction for yourself.
So let's start with the data paralysis crisis. You know, it's this weird paradox of the modern age, where having more information actually leads to less action. You see leaders staring at these massive, overwhelming dashboards, thinking they've got this complete 360-degree view of the business. But what they really have is a 360-degree view of noise. And that creates this dangerous illusion of control that stops real, decisive action in its tracks.
If you look at a typical company's dashboard, it's just like this. 95% of it is noise. It's distracting clutter and reports about what already happened. But buried deep inside all of that is this tiny, incredibly powerful 5%. These are the predictive, actionable signals. And the entire goal of a winning strategy is just simple. Ignore the 95% and pour all of your team's energy into that critical 5%. Because let's be honest, when you're chasing everything, you end up achieving nothing.
Okay, so if we're going to get rid of that 95% of noise, we have to know what we're looking for. We have to name the sources. And it really boils down to two main culprits, two primary enemies of focus: vanity metrics and lagging metrics. Just understanding the difference between these two is the first giant leap toward clarity. So on one side, you've got vanity metrics. These are the numbers that make you feel good, they look great in a presentation, but they have absolutely zero connection to the health of your business. Think social media likes or raw website page views. They're like strategic empty calories. They feel good in the moment, but they're just a dangerous distraction. And on the other side, you've got lagging metrics. Now, these are your historical outcomes, like last quarter's revenue. They're important for sure, but only for context. They report on a game that's already over. You can't influence them. They are the autopsy report, not the diagnostic tool you need to win the next game.
So if 95% of our metrics are just traps waiting to happen, how in the world do we find the 5% that actually matter? Well, the solution is a really systematic approach. It's called the Predictive Success Filter. This is the mechanism we use to separate the signal from all that noise and to build a dashboard that doesn't just report on the past, but actually guides future success.
Now, the Predictive Success Filter, it's not some loose guideline. It's a strict set of rules. It forces us to hunt down the very few leading metrics that meet two non-negotiable criteria. One, they have to reliably forecast a future outcome, and two, they must be directly controllable by your team. You see how this shifts everything? We stop being passive observers of history, and we become active creators of the future.
So to apply this filter, every single one of your potential KPIs has to pass 3 really tough tests. Think of it like a bouncer at an exclusive club. First question, is it a controllable input? Meaning, can my team do something today, right now, to move this number? Second, does it have predictive value? Is there a real, verifiable link between this metric and a critical business outcome down the line? And third, and this is crucial, is it actionable today? Does this number tell my team what they should be doing right now? If a metric fails even one of these tests, it's out. No exceptions, period. Okay, let's make this really tangible. Here are some fantastic examples of predictive metrics that would absolutely pass the filter. The number of sales demos booked, that's a controllable input that directly predicts future sales. Onboarding completion rate, totally controllable, and it predicts long-term customer retention. Customer time to activation, that's how fast a new user finds value.
It's an input that predicts engagement. Lead score hit rate, ad relevance score, these are both things marketing teams control every day, and they directly predict how efficient and successful your sales pipeline will be. You see, every single one of these is controllable, predictive, and actionable today. This is what a high-focus dashboard is actually made of.
Knowing the system is one thing, but it's really important to understand why it is so incredibly effective. The real power of this whole approach is actually rooted in human psychology. It works because it aligns perfectly with how our brains are wired for clarity, for motivation, and for control.
The first huge psychological benefit is what we call cognitive load reduction. Look, our brains simply are not designed to process dozens of different data streams all at once. A dashboard with 30 metrics doesn't empower a team, it completely overwhelms them. It leads to decision fatigue and the dreaded analysis paralysis, where you're so busy looking at data, you never actually do anything.
All the research on this is pretty clear. The human brain can only effectively, strategically focus on about 3 to 5 key priorities at any one time. That's it. So by slashing the number of core metrics down to this range, we dramatically reduce the cognitive load on our teams. And this frees up this immense amount of mental energy that was previously just being wasted trying to make sense of all the noise. And that energy can now be pointed towards strategic thinking, real problem solving, and executing on the few things that actually move the needle. It's like cleaning off a cluttered desk. Suddenly you can see the work that needs to get done.
The second psychological win here is a massive, and I mean massive, boost in team morale. Think about it. When teams are judged on lagging metrics they can't actually control, it just creates a sense of helplessness, burnout. But when you shift the focus to controllable, leading metrics, you give them agency. You give them control. They can see a direct, clear line between their daily actions and the results. This taps right into our fundamental human need for control. It prevents burnout, and it builds this amazing culture of proactive ownership.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the how. This isn't just theory, it's a practical, hands-on framework. I'm going to walk you through the exact steps to execute a priority audit and transform your reporting from a historical document into a tool for strategic control.
The framework is a really straightforward 3-step process. First, you have to execute a full-blown vanity and lagging audit of every single metric you currently track. And you have to be ruthless. Second, from the very few metrics that survive that audit, you will define your 5% predictive set, those 3 to 5 leading indicators that are going to become your organization's North Star. And finally, to guarantee focus and accountability, you must enforce singular ownership for each one of those core KPIs.
So here's what that audit looks like in practice. You take a metric, say social media likes. You ask, what's its category? It's vanity. The decision? Obvious. Eliminate it. Get it off your dashboard. Next up, quarterly revenue. Category? That's a lagging metric. So, what's the decision? We keep it, but only for context, for board meetings, not for the team's daily focus. And finally, sales demos booked. Category? That's a leading metric. Decision? This becomes a core KPI. This process forces you to justify every single number you look at.
And after that audit, this is what you're left with, your final dashboard. It's clean, it's simple, and it's incredibly effective. And for each core KPI, you assign one singular owner. Onboarding completion rate belongs to the head of customer success. Lead score hit rate belongs to the head of marketing. This one move creates radical accountability. There's no more ambiguity. There's no finger pointing. When everyone knows exactly what the priorities are and who owns them, the entire organization just accelerates.
So, we've gone through the problem, the solution, and how to implement it. Now I want to land on the single most important insight from all of this: the profound strategic power of reduction.
If you remember absolutely nothing else from our time today, remember this: strategic success is a function of reduction, not addition. This entire system, it's really just Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, applied to the discipline of measurement. It's the simple recognition that a vital few inputs are responsible for the vast majority of your outputs. Your job as a leader isn't to track more things. It's to have the courage and the discipline to find and focus on the vital few. The biggest barrier to your success isn't a lack of data, it's a lack of focus.
And at the end of the day, this isn't just about making cleaner dashboards. It's a fundamental shift in how you run your strategy. The system works because it measures the small few that predict the success of the many. It's about trading that comforting illusion of control for the hard-earned reality of focus. It's about building a machine for predictable success, one disciplined, powerful metric at a time.